Intro test, mic test. Okay, we're good. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're doing things a little bit different here. I thought I'd do more of a vlog style intro to kind of wake you guys up. After all, ambient music is known for being one of the sleepiest forms of music out there, so you guys need some fire content to get you all pumped up, let's be real. What's up? My name is Chris from Signs of Life. Welcome back to the channel. On this channel, I give you the best quality ambient music tutorials, plug-in deep dives, and if you want to get inspired, you are definitely in the right place. So make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button with the bell notification on so you can keep up to date with the latest in the Signs of Life universe. And if you haven't already, smash that like button on the way in. So in today's video, we're going to talk about sequence space ambient. What is sequence space ambient? How do you create it? And in the tutorial section of today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create sequence space ambient for beginners, because let's be honest, this video is aimed towards the absolute beginner, and even if you're not a total beginner in the genre, I'm sure you'll be able to pick up a couple tips along the way. With sequence space ambient, we're talking about sequences, usually generated from a step sequencer, and those sequences evolve over time. One of the key qualities of this kind of music is to start with a very simple sequence that starts growing and changing in almost a hypnotic way, and that isn't always easy to do. It also helps if you have a good step sequencer to work with, so in today's video I'm going to be using stepping, which in my opinion is one of the best sequencers out there for a bunch of different reasons. It's extremely powerful in its ability to randomize parameters and apply modulation with its 8 different modulation lanes, but you also have the ability to use up to 16 different memory slots for sequences that evolve, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in today's video. So if you want to pick up Stepic, you can do so by clicking the link down below in the description. Not only are you getting one of the best sequencers out there, but you're helping to support this channel so I can keep making videos just like this one. Before we start this tutorial, I want to reference 2 albums that I really think demonstrate this style of sequencing so you can hear exactly what this style of ambient music is all about. The first album is Theta Serpentis from my good friend Martin Sturzer. This album demonstrates Martin's ability to generate simple sequences that hold your attention, but also surround those sequences with other elements that don't become overcrowded. Using simple sequencing techniques, along with a good reverb and delay, can sometimes be all you need to create really good sequence space ambient. Check out this album, and if you can, notice the way he not only evolves the sequences using slow filters, but also changes things up track by track with different tempos and sequencing styles that ultimately create a really enjoyable and powerful listening experience. The second album is Manifolds from Arjun Chat. This one I've talked about and referenced before on a previous video is from our own label, Symphera Records. This 3-track, hour-long masterclass in sequence space ambient quite literally takes a while to evolve, but each track is so purposely woven together that it's impossible to deny how good he is at sequencing these types of tracks. The sequences go on so long, yet never feel stale or static, and by the time you reach the end of the track, you feel transformed after listening to the same sequence for so long. You feel like you've been on a trip or an adventure in sequencing. Anyway, check it out for yourself and you won't be disappointed. Last but not least, before we start the video, I want to give a quick shout out to my Patreon where this video was originally found. If you want to learn more and you want fresh, new, inspiring content delivered right to your inbox all month long, you have to check out my Patreon. We're over halfway to my goal over there, so I can start doing this stuff full time. So if you want to support me and you want more tutorials and content that you can't find anywhere else, check out the link down below in the description to get started. That being said, let's get into sequence space ambient for beginners. What's up guys, Chris here from Signs of Life. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, we're going to build a sequence space ambient track from scratch. Now this tutorial is going to be very beginner friendly. We're going to start from the absolute beginning, and I find that this is really helpful, especially because like a lot of guys who watch my channel, they really want to make music like Martin, like Ascendant, like Echo Season. I mean, you know, this kind of thing. It naturally follows me wherever I go. However, it can be tough when you don't really know where to begin. So that's who this tutorial is for. And we're just going to start from scratch and hopefully build something today that sounds like one of those aforementioned artists. All right. So let's get going here. And the first thing I'm going to do is set the tempo. Now, tempo is very important. You could either go double the tempo and start at 140, or what I recommend is just starting somewhere between 70 and 80 beats per minute. So I'm going to lower the tempo and then we're going to pick a key. let's go ahead and just pick, I don't know, how about E flat minor? All right, so we're gonna pick E flat minor and just go from there. Now, I have Hive here, but one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Stepic to start building up a sequence. I'd say one of the most prominent features in sequence-based ambient is the sequence that ever evolves throughout the track, meaning it starts off one way and then it kind of just keeps on evolving, whether you add notes into the sequence or remove notes, or the sequence just keeps evolving with a modulated filter or something. But you can easily do this with Stepic, and that's why I'm using Stepic here today. All right, so let's go ahead and just get a couple notes going. What I'm gonna do is use the pattern store feature up here to kind of build a sequence and then copy that over. Maybe we'll have 4 different variations or 8 different variations of this sequence, all right? So let's go ahead and get in our key. We pick D sharp minor, and that is right there. And I have it set to 8 steps, as you can see. And if I just go ahead and hit play, it's just gonna play 8 notes of the same, all right? And that sounds really bad because Hive is pitched down an octave. But as you can hear, right, we're just playing 8 notes straight across the board. Now, let's go ahead and either make a preset or open up a preset in Hive. I have tons of presets in here. Let's go ahead and just pick one. How about this one right here? That's a little too low. That might be good. All right, that's cool. Now I'm going to pitch that up an octave. Cool, and then we're gonna lower the cutoff. Now this is just a sawtooth wavetable, basically. Cutoff filter is important, so 24 dB for your cutoff filter on plucks and basses, things like that. You don't want to have like a really slow, long filter. You can see that the filter is being modulated over 8 bars, so I have 8/1 set here. We might want to make that 5/1, okay? And this is sounding good to me, right? And then again, that's just Stepic, just kind of doing its Stepic thing, right? Now let's go ahead and plug in some notes here. Let's go ahead and start adding a couple notes. Maybe we'll add this one and that one. How about this? That works for me. Cool. All right, sounds good. Now let's add some delay and some reverb onto this. Again, very simple. Right, it kind of sounds Martin-ish already. What delay, what reverb? Let's go ahead and talk about that. This is a dotted eighth note dual delay. You can make it ping pong if you wanted, so I can go up here to ping pong. I prefer the dual. And then of course, I've been giving this around all the science circle folks. This is my Valhalla Room preset. 55 seconds of decay time, 100% on the mix, obviously because it's a send effect. Yeah, and the LV426 reverb knob. Best reverb, hands down, end of story. Anyway, all right, so let's go back to Stepic. Now, that's a nice start, okay? I'm gonna double check to make sure that velocity is set. No, it's not. So we're gonna set velocity here by setting the velocity knob. And then I'm going to come back over here to Stepic and start modulating some velocity. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of hit randomize and then hit random direction. Now it's gonna be different velocity every single time. And as you can see, the position is now changing down here as well. Okay, that gives us a little more variation there. It's nice. It's a little quiet, so I'll turn it up. Okay, sounded good to me. Maybe a little more delay. Nice. So we're off to a good start, right? Now, how do you evolve this sequence? Okay, that's the question. What we're gonna do is we're gonna evolve it first in Stepic, and then we're going to start laying this down in MIDI, all right? So I'm just gonna pause the track here, and I'm gonna say store 1, all right? So it is now stored. Now what we can do is we can also say store and then hit 2, and we're gonna get a copy of what this is. Now that's exactly what we want, because we're going to now adjust the sequence, maybe add another note and maybe take a note out. So we're gonna take this note out. So now we have, I'm gonna store that. Now we have 1 and 2. You see what I'm saying? So now we're building up a library of these sounds that we can evolve over time. And again, that's one of the hallmarks of sequence-based ambient, is being able to sort of listen to a sequence and in the background it changes and you don't really know when it changes. Try to think of ways to do that. Either way, you do it with Stepic or you do it with Reverb. You can get Stepic with my link down below in the description. You know, I mean, these tools are really powerful if you use them correctly. So that's what we're doing here today. All right, so anyway, now that I've got this stored, I'm gonna hit store 3 and let's build another variation. And let's actually use an octave here. Something as simple as that. So I hit the octave knob right down here and added another octave. That was really nice. I like the way that sounds. So I'm gonna store that, store 3. Okay, let's do one more. So I'm going to hit store 4. And then maybe go. That's cool. I like that. That is cool. I like the way that sounds. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. We started here, and then we went to here, then we went to here, and then we're here. All right. Fair enough, right? That's exactly it. I mean, 4 different variations on this one pattern, and we're off and running, all right? So the question is now, in Ableton, how do you record this? Now, in other DAWs, you can probably record it right to track. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that our record quantization is off, and then I'm gonna label this Stepic, so I'll just label it Stepic, and then I'm going to make this the MIDI track in and post effects and label it in. Now we're gonna go back to Stepic and make sure that we're playing pattern 1, okay? And we're gonna record it for, say, 4 bars or something. So let's go ahead, hit record here, and yeah, we're off and running. Let's go ahead and record. Actually, you know what? Let's bring this over to arrangement. Let's do this the smart way. We're gonna start laying it out in arrangement view over here already, all right? So let's go and record it. Okay, that should be good. So we're gonna lay 4 bars of that. Now we can go ahead and make this a loop, make sure it's exactly 4 bars. And we're gonna trim this up. There we go. And we can say crop clip, and there we go. So now we have a perfect 4-bar loop. Once again, let's make sure it's on loop, and now we have a perfect 4-bar loop. So now we can take this as far as we want. We can take it for 16 bars if we want. And now we have that, so that's good. So now we can come over here, come back over to Stepic, and let's now go to pattern 2, and we're gonna start right here, and here we go. Let's just record pattern 2. That works for me, and let's come over here, trim it up. Say, all right, let's move this up, loop. It's gonna be 4 bars, just like that. And we're gonna trim it, crop clip, make it loop, done. All right, so now we can go like that. And then we can go here and let's record pattern 3. Here we go, come back over to Stepic. And there we go. And let's record this. Now, did you hear how it kind of started a little off time? I don't know if I like that, but it kind of sounds cool. I think that could work. So let's go ahead and we're gonna trim it to 4 again. This is really working out. I'm super stoked how this is actually sounding right now. So let's go ahead and crop this, And we're going to set a loop. And now we got pattern 3. Very good. And finally, let's go ahead and lay down pattern 4. And now you can see over here, I noticed that you can switch the patterns on the fly. That's cool. And let's go ahead and record this. Nice. All right, cool. We're done now. So that's good. Like I'm stoked with this beginning. I think it's gonna really set our track into a good direction, and that's exactly what we want at this stage. So there you go. That's done. Let's go ahead and crop this one more time, and that should be good, right? Nope, we're gonna set it to loop. There we go. Okay, so now we have this one. So now this one could be like our 4 sequence. Now once you take it into auto, now we have 4 different MIDI tracks. You can go ahead and rename these. We could just rename it sequence 1, right? Sequence 1, and if I hit tab there, I bet it would go sequence 2, tab, yep, sequence 3, tab, sequence 4, return. There we go. Okay, so now we have 4 separate. We could even color code this if we want. We can make this one just a little more purple, this one almost blue, and this one like, I don't know, like it's like gray, right? So now we have 4 different sequences. Okay, cool. Now we know what's up. We can kind of move these as we wish. So that's the first thing. We'll just call this main sequence. And let's go ahead and listen to what we got. We can actually turn off the input from Stepic, and we can turn off Stepic over here. And then finally, we can take all this MIDI and actually we can just take the Hive instance and move it here. There we go. Right on. Increase the delay and the reverb. Sounded good to me. I wonder why that's so low. There we go. All right, now, as you can hear, it kind of makes a pad underneath, right? We can hide this track. We're done with it now. What we can do is kind of build a pad underneath this. It's going to be a very low pad, and that low pad can just kind of sit as sort of a placeholder for now. So let's go ahead and add Vital, and let's go ahead and find one of those. How about that new pad? Either Quantify or Flow State. Let's use, this is the new pad for the new Patreon pack that I just released. And let's go ahead and make sure that we're in there. We're in the right key. That's good. We're gonna lower the filters here. We're gonna make this a very There we go. Yeah, like that. So nothing too crazy, right? And then definitely you want to lower it to the point where it's complementing the sequence and not trying to overpower it, right? It's a nice balance right there. There we go. Lay down something simple. I'm going to use the recall function in a minute. Maybe 32 bars or something. I like that. Yes. Pause it right there. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's bring this back here. And now we have a nice 32 bar kind of loop. Actually, it's not even close to 32 bars. Let's go ahead and make that a little longer here. Extend this loop marker out. But you guys are starting to see the workflow here. Like, I'm really just trying to build something up so we have material to work with. And then from that, we can kind of like go in any direction that we choose. So let's go ahead and put this in scale mode. We'll put it in scale mode right here. There we go. We'll turn off the fixed grid. And let's go ahead and draw in some more notes. Maybe we'll bring this one back over here. And we'll extend this one out. And then maybe, this was a nice little surprise note there. And then for the last part, we'll just kind of extend this out and maybe bring this one back as well. There we go. And yeah, let's bring an F sharp back. There we go. Okay, cool. So that's a nice 32 bar loop. We can make it a loop. And now we have a nice pad underneath everything else. There we go. Cool. So that'll work. Now, as far as the sequence goes, what we can do is we can say, all right, we've got these 4 different sequences. So let's go ahead and kind of rough out where these sequences are going to start. So we can go like this and make that one last till, I don't know, bar 33, and then make this one go like this. They don't have to be evenly spaced, but they can be thoughtfully placed where, you know, you're really going to get into, you know, maybe this one will come back. And like that, and now you gotta watch the time here below, like how long are we looking at here? Like this is a longer period of time, and then maybe like this, and then maybe yeah, we'll end it with that. Oops, undo, and then we'll end it with this one. There we go. That's a long track. That's a really long track. So let's go ahead. Let's pull this back. Let's actually pull this back. We'll pull this back, and then we'll go maybe like that long and that long. There we go. That's better. That looks better. Okay, that's more reasonable. All right, cool. And then we have this one in the middle. I kind of want to bring this, twice, if we can. And then like, oops, we'll go ahead and duplicate this one. I want to select this one. There we go. And then we'll go like that. There. Yeah, that's cool. And maybe, yeah. I like that. Nice. Okay, cool. So now what we're gonna do is, where do we go from here? Now that we kind of have our whole thing set up, where do we go from here? And usually that's the part where people get stuck, or it's like, okay, let me explain. We're gonna add different sequences to sort of weave in and out of that main sequence. And that's really gonna add a lot of rhythm and motion to our track, all right? So we're gonna start very simple, and we're gonna add another instance of Stepic, which I've already done here, and then we're gonna add an instance of Serum. So let's go ahead and design something. Now in Stepic, what I have here is just 4 separate notes. They're just 4 notes, right? We've done it, it's 4 steps, 4 notes, super simple. But what we can do here is in Stepic, we can say, all right, Stepic, I want you to play any of those notes. So I've hit this button right here, and this is like randomize the direction. So it can play any of those notes. Let's also randomize the velocity. Actually, let's make it a little more like that, and then randomize the direction. Now let's go ahead and design a simple pad. Now I say simple, watch what I'm doing here. So all I'm gonna do is just kind of lower this is the attack envelope, or the amp envelope, right? And I'm gonna turn on the filter and make this a 24 dB filter, up the drive a little bit. And now I'm going to make a separate envelope, which is gonna be my little filter envelope, and go like this and like that. So now when Stepic plays, okay, here's what we're listening to. That sounded good. Maybe we'll make it 1 octave higher. That sounded good to me. And then I'm gonna take a long LFO. So 8 bar, take LFO 1 and drag it over to the cutoff. And now we have a long triangle shaped LFO that is going to evolve that cutoff over time. All right, another hallmark again of sequence space ambient, these long filters. Watch how this opens it up. Nice, right? Let's listen. Okay? Feel where I'm going with this? So that's a nice complement to that original sequence, right? It's in a separate octave. It's a very simple pattern compared to the other one, which is a little more complex. But they're still not competing with each other. They're like in the same, you know, they sort of sound tied together. They're both sawtooths. They're going into the same reverb and the same delay. Now it's really gonna hit. This is gonna be awesome. Sequence 4. Let's hear that. I like that. Yes. That's good. That's really good. Okay, so we've got this far. Now, let's go ahead and lay this down. Again, we're gonna do the same process. We're gonna call this step 2. All right, step 2. I don't know why I put it there. Step 2, there we go. And we'll go ahead and lay this down. Step 2, post effects, and let's go ahead and go back to bar 1. And hopefully Stepic will reset, and let's go ahead and lay this in. It really doesn't matter really, because here we go. We'll just let it go for like 4 bars. Why are we not recording? Let's do this. Here we go. Let's try this again. All right, here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I also like about this one is compared to the contrast of this very predictable sequence up here, this one is kind of random. You know what I'm saying? Like it actually sounds really good. I like that. So let's go ahead and put this up here. And now we can turn off the Stepic and it's playing. That's nice. And this one can come in like later, maybe at one sequence 3. Right here. Yeah, that's good. All right, we'll go ahead and make this a loop. Loop it. Make sure it's cropped correctly. Crop it. Loop it. Done. That's money in the bank right there. Okay, so I mean, you know, right? And that filter could even be longer. Like you could go even longer on that Serum filter. Go 16 bars if you wanted, but I kind of like it. And again, that's just a straight sawtooth, like nothing crazy about it. But I'm kind of hearing a couple more sequences in my head, but before we get there, we're gonna design a bass for this, and then eventually we can bring it all together. So that's good. I like this. Okay, it does need grounding, all right? It needs grounding, and by grounding, I mean it needs some serious low end. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay some in here. So we're gonna stay with 24. We're gonna add a sine wave as a sub oscillator and put them both through filter 1, okay? Let's go ahead and make it like this, and we're gonna all ends here, and there we go. All right, lower the cutoff, nice. And we're gonna make this mono with 2 voices and make it 2 unison, like that. That just kind of gives some interest, you know, a little bit of spice to our bass. We can add a little bit of bass, a little bit of reverb rather. Kind of like a bass pad. I like to make these bass pads, right? We could do bass mono right here. There we go. So let's go ahead and listen to that. And that's with our pad behind it. So now we have this underneath it. It doesn't sound like much now, but it makes a big difference that it's there. It really, you know, in the sub frequencies, the frequencies where your ears aren't distracted, that's holding it down right now, and that's a good thing. You know, when you change a bass note, it's like the footing underneath it changes. I don't think it needs to be any lower than that. I think that's perfect, actually. Let's go ahead and up this an octave and see what it sounds like. That's nice. Add a compressor. Gentle compressor. There we go. That's a very Ascendant style bass, you know what I mean? And what I might want to do is I might want to go and make this something that has its own decay, and then we can kind of add a little bit of... Actually, we'll add mod envelope here. There we go. Yeah. Like that. You see what I mean? Like, so it's almost its own sequence, right? And let's go ahead and start that at bar 17. And let's go ahead and add this. Okay, we'll see if we can just kind of, we can draw it in. If we can't draw it in, no worries. We'll make this red, because we love the color red for bass. And then find that note, it's D0, D sharp rather. And then here we go. And then we'll go like this, and then maybe that'll work. I don't know. Let's see. Duplicate. That's not what we want. What we want is dome, boom, boom. I guess that's gonna be a little quarter note behind there. So we'll go like this. Boom, boom. All right, we'll go like that, make it a little shorter. There we go. And then make that one long. And then like that. Is that gonna work? That is going to work, son. All right, so we're going like this, and then we're gonna go like this. And there we go. Nice. Sounded good, okay. Yeah. Nice. Extend that as long as we want. Yeah. I'm into that. Let's make this pad like blue. Yes. Make this match. Is that the right? That's not the right orange. That's the right orange. No, that's not even the right orange. Is that the right orange? There it is. That's good. Right? Because as soon as that second sequence enters the chat, it's gonna be like, game on. I hear almost a hi-hat in this though, you know, like a shaker or something. This is good. I'm feeling something very percussive coming in here. Right? Like you can cut your mind is starting to spin, like the imagination is starting to flow. You're imagining this world. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about in this video in particular was like, now that you've gone this far, like what world are you trying to create, right? What lives here? And what direction do you want to go? You know, right now we're sort of like still in that sort of pastoral phase. It could be, you know, embarking on a journey, anything like that. But there's still something more here. Like, this is where you really start telling your story as an artist. And it's a difficult line to cross. I mean, you kind of have to like break out, like, you know, lore and craft. And it's like, here you are at this precipice of what could be one of the greatest tracks of your life. How are you going to write it? What story do you want to tell with what follows? That's up to you. But that's one of the things about sequence-based ambient is that you can tell these stories because they feel so real. So where would I go from here? I might put a higher sequence in there. Let this one fade in and out. You know, I don't do any volume automation at this stage. I just sort of add it all into my canvas, if you will. And then once it finally comes time to mix, after I've done some preliminary arrangement, then I start adding volume automation. That's where the magic comes in, right there. Let's add one more instance of stepping. All right? One more instance of stepping. And we'll see if we can bring out something either like a high lead pad, or every time I add step-pick, I get excited because I know that step-pick has something unexpected that's waiting for me. And I'm just like, yes, like give me more of that. That's what I want. It's a beautiful, beautiful sequencer. So let's go ahead and we'll add an instance of Hive here, and let's find something pre-made like, well, we could obviously use the Hive. That's a beautiful sequence, but with a sequencer, oh my God, it's gonna sound so good. So let's go ahead and go like this and add some delay here, add some reverb. And you can go ahead and just randomize if you want. Like I could just randomize the whole thing, make sure it's on natural minor, and that's cool. Or we could do the ratio trick, which I showed in the video the other day, which is really quite helpful if you just wanna control the amount of, you know, sort of randomness that you're getting. Like it doesn't want to be super crazy because if every single note is different, then it's going to sound pretty wild. So let's go ahead and do that here as well. And we'll go like that. And that sounded good. We'll randomize velocity for real and randomize the direction. And yeah, let's go ahead and hear how this sounds on top of it. This is just a blind, like, sounds so good. I swear, anytime I lay down this patch, it sounds good to me. It doesn't sound as exactly musical as I wanted, but like I love the noise. Good. Okay, so let's actually turn down the sub oscillator and get more of that part of it. Yes. Yes. So did you hear how like Stepik just immediately gave us something that was so inspiring? Like that's the direction we want to go. Now we're really hitting a peak here. Yes! This is what I'm talking about. We can even do like a couple more notes in here. So good. Wow. I love it. Yes. So At this point, I would probably just lay this down. But Step It gave us all that we needed, right? From this sequence over here, you know, to the first initial sequence that we got. We built an entire track just around that. Again, if you don't have Step It yet, it comes in Max for Live and VST version. It is the most amazing deal, and it truly does feel like a hardware sequencer almost. And especially you have the convenience of all these patterns, 16 patterns you can store here on the top. And a feature that we haven't even touched is the automation lanes. You could automate any part of your synthesizer or anything in your DAW that accepts automation with the automation lanes. And that gives you 16 more sequencers. Or however many, 8 more, like Step It. Use the link down below in the description of this video. Get Step It. You won't regret it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I want to put a pin in this one, and then maybe in part 2, we're going to revisit this and then really start arranging and shaping this track in new and interesting ways. And I mean, I can already see the forest through the trees here. This is a beautiful track. Listen to that. Like, as soon as the other sequence goes out, that one comes back in. Yes! If you guys want to learn more, you know where to find me. Patreon.com/ScienceOfLife. You get fresh new content delivered right to your inbox all month long. We have the Science Circle, which is a wonderful track feedback group that meets twice a month. I do private one-on-one instruction on Patreon, and the Ambient Tutorials tier, which is my largest tier by far, gets videos like this every single week, so hit me up. Patreon.com/ScienceOfLife. Otherwise, I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you all for all of your support and all the encouragement. This continues to be my source of inspiration, and I couldn't do it without you. So what's your favorite way to create sequence-based ambient? Make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. And as always, stay inspired and keep your heads in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. My name is Chris from Science of Life. See you guys in the next one.